The book 50 Shades of Grey has sold over 165 million copies in over 50 languages. And, well, to put it nicely, it is sadomasochistic porn. And this whole idea of this kind of sexuality, well, that has become something of a cultural phenomenon. One study found that over 27% of women want to experience pleasure from pain, and over 23% have experienced it. And that's just one example of how such debauched practice has gone mainstream. So what do we make of all of this? Is this acceptable within marriage? Is this something Christians should be open to? Well, let's go back to the start. Let's go to Genesis 1, where we are told that humans are made in the image of God. And that means that we are distinct and set apart from the rest of creation. And our value, well, it comes from Him. And this impacts our sexuality. It doesn't just impact it in a way of when we have sex, but it also impacts how sex is carried out, even in a marital context. Francis Schaeffer wrote of this in Pollution and the Death of Man, saying, "But what we do not have a right to do is to forget that the girl is a person and not an animal or a plant or a machine. We have the right to have our pleasure in sexual relationship, but we have no right whatsoever to exploit a partner as a sex object. We impose a limit, a self-imposed limit, in order to treat the wife fairly as a person. So although the husband could do more, he does not do everything he could do because he must treat her as a person and not just as a thing with no value. And if he does so treat her, eventually he loses because love is gone, and all that is left is just a mechanical, chemical sexuality. Humanity is lost as he treats her as less than human." So just because a man or a woman can dominate one another, or just because one fantasizes about domination in that way, well, that is an evil fantasy, and that does not mean that one should do that or fulfill such a fantasy. A person who inflicts pain on another human being in a dehumanizing manner, well, they dehumanize their maker, even if they do so in the context of marriage. Perhaps a better title for James' book would be 50 Shades of Degrading One Another. Don't do this even in marriage. But that would not be very catchy, probably wouldn't sell as much. Would be better for society though.